Hi, kindergarten. I'm here to give you another tip on how to read an hour on a clock. So yesterday we talked about how the space in between the hour all belongs to that hour, just like the room in a house. The hour is a door, and all that space in between is the room that it belongs to. Here I have another way for you to read a clock easier and remember where the hour is that you're looking at on the clock. Okay, so I made a little hook out of a twist tie. Right now, this hour is 9 o'clock. The hour hand is pointing to the 9, and the minute hand is pointing straight up to the 12. But as the minute hand moves, the hour hand gets a little bit farther away from the 9, so I'm going to show you how you can see that better. Watch. All right, as my minute hand moves, you can see the hour hand is moving away from the 9. It's not exactly pointing to the 9 anymore. But I made this little hook out of a twist tie, and so even though the hand is pointing away, you see how the hook is swinging back and pointing back to the 9? It helps me remember, oh, I'm still in the 9 o'clock room, still in that hour, haven't moved out of that room yet. And if I move this minute hand a little bit further, even though that hour hand is getting farther away from the 9, that hook is still swinging around and pointing back to the 9. It's still in the 9 o'clock hour. Hasn't left 9 o'clock yet, even though it's moving away. All right, if I move this minute hand a little bit farther, even up here. Now, this hour hand is getting really close to the 10. Is it 10 o'clock yet? Not yet. The hook is swinging back and still pointing to the 9. It's telling you it's still in the 9 o'clock hour. And then I have to move the hook for a second because my hand won't go over the other one. Even when this minute hand goes over the top of the hour hand, is it in the 10 o'clock hour yet? Not yet. If you trace a little hook backwards, it still puts you at 9. You're still in the 9 o'clock hour here. You are in the 9 o'clock hour all the way up until this minute hand points up to the 12. Now you're in the 10 o'clock hour. Okay, so the nice thing about this twist tie is even if you don't have a clock like this at home that you can practice telling the time, you can look at your clock at home and with your finger trace a little backwards hook from the hour to see where it is. So say you look at your clock, like right now when I'm making this video, it's somewhere in between 1 and 2 o'clock. And the minute hand is probably about here. But even though this hour hand is getting very close to the 2, I can trace my hook backwards right off the end of the hour hand, trace it backwards, and I see, it's still in 1 o'clock. It's not 2 o'clock yet. Even if it goes way up here, I can take my finger and trace my hook backwards and say, still in the 1 o'clock hour. So you can use your finger to do that, or if you're lucky enough to have like a toy clock that you could attach a twist tie to the end of, you can make a backwards hook and it will help you think about the hour that the hour hand is pointing to. Now I want to show you one more thing you can do at home to help you think about a clock. Beatrice, would you like to come help me?
Yes.
Okay, so kindergarten, you're really lucky that you've already learned, Beatrice is my lovely assistant, she's here to help me. You've already learned how to think about dividing a circle into fractions, right? We talked about dividing a circle into halves and dividing a circle into fourths. And think about it. A clock is just a circle that's divided. It's divided into twelfths, right? Because there's 12 numbers on a clock. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So if you think about a clock that way, like you're dividing a circle, you can make your own clock at home out of something round, like if you have a paper plate, or if you have a coffee filter, or if you have a plastic lid of something that you don't need anymore, you can make a clock. All right, so I'm going to let Beatrice try this. All right, Beatrice, if I put a 12 o'clock on this clock, on this plate, where would I put the 12 o'clock?
You would put it right up here.
Right up there. Where? Over here on the side?
No.
No, where?
Maybe right here.
In the very middle, right? You would put it right about there. All right. So, Beatrice, what color would you like to use to make your 12 o'clock?
Pink.
Pink, of course. All right. Make a 12 o'clock right in the middle of the top. Let's look at this clock and see if she's got it. 12 o'clock, right in the middle of the top. Perfect. All right, so Beatrice made a 12 o'clock there. Now, whoops, it's sideways. All right, if that's where the 12 o'clock is, let's think about dividing this clock into halves. If 12 o'clock is there, where do you think 6 o'clock would be? Let's see, Beatrice is going to try it. Kindergarten, where do you think 6 o'clock would be? Think about it. Look at this clock.
Right where the 12 is.
Well, not right where the 12 is, but in a straight line up and down, right? 12 and 6 kind of divide the clock in half. So if you make a 12 at the top, you make a 6 straight up and down at the bottom. Okay, now let's see, where would we put a 3 on this clock? Where do you think 3 goes? Let's see if I can do it on here. There's a 3. Good. We're putting it crooked. Yeah, close. I think a 3 would be maybe closer to here, like halfway between 12 and 6, but it's really hard to do this, so you practice at home too. All right, if that's where 3 is, where do you think 9 would be? Look at 9. If 3 is here, you can make a line across from 3 to 9, right? If you're dividing your clock into quarters, like a circle.
I do that.
Can you do that? Try it.
Like
Yeah. Make a 9. Yeah, you can make a line across. If you want, make like a line with your finger and then draw a 9 on this side.
I was doing that.
Okay. Nice. All right, so Beatrice made a 9 on there. Whoops, we are crooked again. All right, 12, 3, 6, and 9. Then I'm going to let you practice filling in the 1 and the 2, and the 4 and the 5, and the 7 and the 8, and the 10 and the 11 in between. But once you get that fourths, it's a little bit easier to divide up the rest of the spaces, right? All right, what do you think,
Can I
Bea?
fill it in?
You can fill it in, just not on the video. All right. Thank you so much, kindergarten. Have fun with your clock practice. And today for your math practice, you're going to use a clock on ABCya on games on telling the time. There's a link in your lesson plan. All right. Thank you, Beatrice.
Bye.
Thanks, kindergarten. Bye.